Okay, so dollar store sometimes sells things like seashells and sand and sea glass embellishments. So normally I've only seen these thicker sea glass pieces, but now I've seen these thinner sea glass slices. So I grabbed some sea glass slices and some seashells, and I thought I'd make a little nautical project. So I grabbed two dollar store bamboo cutting boards, and I started with just some plain white Rust-Oleum chalk paint that I really watered down. So that mug on the side, Christmas gift from my son. It has dogs on it. He got it at Sur La Table with his grandma. And then it has a tea steeper that looks like a wiener dog that hangs off the side of the mug. It is the most adorable thing ever. It makes me really happy. So that's what I just had a little water in a mug, and I really watered down the white Rust-Oleum chalk paint and really whitewashed the surface. And then I wasn't super happy, so I grabbed some gray chalk paint as well, and I really watered that down, and I added another layer. And I felt like this gave it a little bit more of a driftwood look and less of a bamboo look. You can really brush around. If it's getting too stripy, you can brush left and right first and then finish off with straight up and down brush strokes to get an even finish. But I just let that dry, and then I played around first with the sea glass and then with the seashells. I will say the sea glass was easier for me to arrange. I really doubted myself on the seashells. You'll see this in a minute. But I really wanted to create a specimen art feel here, so I just arranged the sea glass kind of like in a 4x4 pattern. Some sections had more pieces of sea glass because they were smaller. And then here's where it kind of fell apart. I really doubted myself on should the shells be face up or face down, and then I realized, well, the inside of the shell has the most detail and characteristic, but and like difference in color. The front outside part of the shell they were all the same, so I was like, that'd be really boring. But then I questioned my arrangement, and I had seen on Pinterest a thing where someone like put the seashells facing each other so it looked like a butterfly, but these shells weren't quite elongated enough to give the butterfly feel. So I just ended up doing a gradient pattern where anything that was solid white or yellowish went towards the top and the darker purple shells went towards the bottom. And then I just secured everything in place with E6000 glue, just the tiniest dab. You'll see this is the tiniest little tube of E6000, and there was only like a fourth of it left, and it worked for the whole project. So you really don't need that much. But I just glued each of the shells in place, and the nice thing is E6000 doesn't harden right away, so you can kind of finagle the arrangement. If you glue everything down and step back and say, oh, that one looks a little crooked, you can give it a little twist or adjustment after the fact. And then I also did the same thing with all of my sea glass pieces, just the tiniest dab of E6000 glue, and I secured every sea glass piece in place. I'm really liking these new sea glass slices from Dollar Tree. They're a lot thinner, easier to craft with than the bigger chunky ones. This project ended up looking a little too unfinished, so I went back and I added some nautical jute rope, and I'm so glad that I did. And I very simply just secured that all the way around the edge with hot glue. So I hot glued one end of the jute rope at the bottom of the cutting board, did a thin line of hot glue, worked in sections until I had wrapped the jute rope all the way around the cutting board, and then you cut off the tail end at the bottom and secure the two ends together. You kind of marry them up together. You could also cut the jute rope at an angle if you want like a smoother finish. But then that's it. Here's my little nautical sea glass and seashell specimen art. And I don't think it looks like it's made on a cutting board at all.